Most ancient cultures saw pictures in the stars of the night sky. The earliest known efforts to catalog the stars date back to the cuneiform texts and artifacts dating roughly 6,000 years ago. These remnants, found in the valley of the Euphrates River, suggests that the ancients observing the heavens saw the lion, the bull, the scorpion, and in the stars. And the constellations as we know them today are undoubtedly very different from the first few that we're seeing, mainly because our night sky that we are familiar with today is a compendium of both ancient and modern cultures. But we owe the greatest debt in the mythology aspect to the ancient Greeks and Romans.
So now that we've briefly discussed where some of that mythology came from for the constellations and the background on that, we're now going to start talking about some of the specific constellations and that mythology that's associated with those.
Hydra, the water snake. This constellation represents the Hydra, which was slain by Hercules as his second labor. And the Hydra was a multi-headed monster, and the amount of heads varies on which recollection it is. And according to Diodorus, who wrote it in the 1st century BC, the Hydra had 100 heads. And Simonides, which was the 6th century BC, said it had 50. But the most common opinion was that the beast had 9. But what made the Hydra so difficult was the fact that whenever one of its heads was chopped off, 2 would grow in its place. Hercules managed to get around this rather major obstacle by having his nephew cauterize each stump with a hot iron as soon as Hercules could chop off the head. And then the hero buried the monster's immortal head beneath a rock. And the task was made somewhat more difficult by Juno, who sent a crab to nip at the feet of Hercules while he battled the Hydra. Now, the Hydra is a long and wandering constellation stretching almost from Canis Minor to Libra, and it lies south of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, and it is best seen in the northern hemisphere during the months of February through May.